WEST, the Western Regional Storage Trust, a distributed retrospective print repository program in the Western United States. Module 1. Building a WEST Archive. The purpose of this module is to describe one of the ways an archive builder in WEST could manage a call for holdings. A call for holdings is an important part of the process for building a print journal archive. It will look at the process for building gold and silver archives only. It does not address the methods for establishing a bronze archive. In particular, it explores the timeline for building a WEST archive, known as the archive cycle. It also describes the activities that occur in parallel at WEST member libraries and builder locations as materials are compiled in preparation for validation. As part of this examination, we will also look at how to formulate a call for holdings and ways for optimizing requests to multiple libraries to ensure a continuous receipt of materials to each builder location. Finally, we will look at some of the ways to track requests and the receipt of materials. A call for holdings is the means by which an archive builder requests journal volumes from other WEST members to help make a complete journal run, and for WEST members who are willing to deaccession their holdings for a journal to contribute those volumes to the WEST Archive Builder. It is important to remember that it is very rare for an individual institution to hold a complete backfile of a journal, so collaboration is essential among WEST partners. Archive builders actively compile complete backfiles for designated WEST titles, and usually retain those backfiles in high-density storage facilities. Archive builders typically work on high-risk titles, and the list of titles identified for the builder are usually ones for which the builder already has a deep backfile. During the archive cycle, several activities occur in parallel at builder and member library locations. There are more than 100 WEST members, so coordination and optimization of requests between archive builders and with member libraries is also very important. The strategies presented in this module are designed to provide an efficient approach to managing the movement of some WEST materials among a large partnership. The call for holdings is orchestrated throughout the year such that archive builders have a continuous supply of materials coming in, and contributors have sufficient time to work through local protocols for deaccessioning and shipping materials to the builder. The first call for holdings is issued in the summer. The institutions receiving the requests have the opportunity to decide if they will contribute to the WEST Archive by deaccessioning some of their holdings and donating them to the archive builder. It may take some time for a member library to decide if it will contribute to the archive. While waiting for an answer, the builder begins the physical validation of its volumes according to the appropriate validation level, either gold or silver, depending on the journal family. If a member library determines that it will contribute to the archive builder, the volumes will be removed from the collection, deaccessioned based on local practices, and sent to the builder. The receiving volumes may be held in a staging area until all the requested volumes have been received, at which point the full run can be validated. If a builder has limited staging space, the builder may choose to validate sections at a time as they come in throughout the year. Over time, archive builders become familiar with each WEST member library and its ability to quickly respond to a call for holdings. This knowledge can be useful to track holdings and can be used in subsequent archiving cycles to optimize requests to various institutions. How are requests created? The builder makes the first request for holdings to WEST members based on lists provided by the WEST project team and bibliographic records, not based on the review of physical holdings. An archive builder should also make its first call for holdings as early in the cycle as possible to allow member libraries time to make their contributions. Later, as the builder begins to review physical holdings, it may identify more gaps or condition problems and incorporate those volumes into a second call for holdings. A call for holdings is simply a message sent via email to a member institution to request specific volumes to fill gaps in the archive builder's backfile. The West Wiki contains a template spreadsheet that archive builders may use to help formulate a request for holdings and receive responses back from multiple libraries. It is best to attach a list of titles and volumes needed, and to ask the member library to indicate its willingness to contribute all or some of the volumes by using some simple codes that can be used for libraries to indicate their willingness to contribute all or some of their holdings for each title. The member library returns the list to the builder, so the builder knows what to expect and receive over the coming weeks. Optimizing requests. There are various ways that an archive builder can coordinate and optimize requests to ensure a continuous workflow. These can include requesting multiple titles from a member library, taking into account past experiences with member libraries, requesting a full back file, issuing the first call for holdings as early as possible, and working towards coordination with other archive builders. We will look at each of these in more detail. Builders are encouraged to review the title lists provided by the West project team to identify the libraries that hold multiple titles when formulating a call for holdings. In this example, the archive builder has transferred their holdings data into the West master tracking template found on the West Wiki, so that it can easily be determined which member libraries have multiple volumes. A builder can and should request multiple titles from a single member library. It's best to avoid piecemeal requests for a single title. Libraries generally prefer to treat these requests as a project. Avoid requesting volumes from other archive builders if possible. They are busy compiling their own Westback files. When choosing a library from which to request holdings, a builder might also consider its past experiences with a particular library. Some libraries are able to contribute holdings much more readily than others. If one library has been quick to respond in the past, it may be useful to work with that library again in subsequent years. Generally, a builder should request only partial runs for the specific volume needed for the West archive, but if there is some uncertainty about the library's holdings, the builder might request a full run from the library. Some libraries may even prefer to contribute full runs rather than break up a run. If there is some uncertainty about a library's willingness to contribute holdings, the builder might request a duplicate backfile from another library in the same call for holdings. It is okay for each call for holdings to include requests for duplicate holdings. In this example, the builder can see that multiple libraries have the needed volumes, and a request for some of the volumes could be made to more than one library. It is important to note that the cost of deduplication is not factored into the West model. So a builder must also use its judgment when requesting partial runs, full runs, or duplicates. Each approach has its costs and efficiencies. Archive builders are encouraged to issue their first call for holdings as early as possible in the archiving cycle, so that member libraries have enough time to complete their collections review, gifts and deaccessioning process, and make shipments. It is important to track receipts of holdings from member libraries and identify gaps along the way. The template on the West Wiki can be used to track responses from libraries about their willingness to contribute, as well as actual physical receipts. The archive builder may also use the spreadsheet to track gaps, which will be useful both for preparing the second call for holdings and for disclosing gaps in bibliographic records when validation is complete. The workflow for the second call for holdings is similar to the first. The builder requests the necessary volumes from other West members. The builder then waits for a response from the member libraries. Once a decision is made, the library ships volumes to the builder location, where they are received and validated according to the appropriate validation standards. And finally, disclosure is made. It is possible that some gaps may still remain after the second call for holdings is complete, but West considers that after 2 requests, a reasonable effort has been made, and any remaining gaps are noted in the 583 field, and the journal run is now complete according to the standards established by West. As the final part of the disclosure process, the local holdings records are uploaded to OCLC WorldCat and Paper, the Print Archives Preservation Registry. In this module, we have seen one possible way that an archive builder can manage the call for holdings process and build an archive for West. We have seen the time frame for building an archive. We have seen the parallel workflows of builder and contributors, what a request will look like, one possible way to optimize builder workflow, and a means of tracking requests. These processes can be adapted and changed to best suit the needs of individual archive builders.